Hello, and today I would like to talk to you about my January highlights. So I'm going to go through all the things that I've sold over the past month, what's been doing well for me, what's not been doing so well for me, and maybe give you a few insights into things that you might try yourself and be able to sell. So obviously my main character Samadan is my main, and we have the professions tailoring, cooking and enchanting. So those are the three that I've focused on throughout this month. I also have Irfan, my leatherworker and skinner, who we've just got started in leatherworking this month. So that's going to be a fledgling profession for this month. So let's have a look overall in TSM and see where we're at in terms of the graph and everything. So going into TSM here, so the last month, we're just slightly into February, so the figures are going to be slightly off from my spreadsheet I'm going to show you in a little moment. Basically, we've made some good progress, some good profits. We were down here at 856,000 and we broke the million mark again. We're back up here to 1.4 million at the moment as of the 4th of February. Now, according to TSM, sales is 920,000, spent is 239,000, and profit is about 680,000. And then what I've done is I've downloaded the accounting data for the exact month period of January, and I'm going to go through that on the spreadsheet and show you a breakdown of all the things that I've sold over this last month and maybe offer a few insights as to what you can try out yourself. So here's my spreadsheet of the data. So I'm going to start with tailoring, just a run through of everything we've got here. So first off, the thing that I spot here is a good notable sales of deep sea bags. We actually sold 54 of those over the month, average price of 800, but 43,000 in total in sale of those. Okay, sadly World of Warcraft crashed on me in the background whilst I was going through the spreadsheet, but we don't need World of Warcraft on at the moment whilst I go through this. So where we're at with deep sea bags, I've got 54 of those that I've sold over the month. So I started selling them at the beginning of the month and gradually started selling less and less of them towards the end of the month because I was running out of deep sea satin and I wanted to use it for sinister combatant gear, and it was getting a lot more expensive. This represents kind of like the first half of the month really. Other things we've sold here, there's an Alec plushie in there, managed to sell one of those for 835. Battle flag, this will be from a turn-in, managed to do 5 of those. A good selection of shirts here and more here. Now, following on from my other video, the tailoring deep dive, we've got some enchanted spell thread that I've actually sold since I did that deep dive. So we've sold 2 of those for about 1,967 each, so that's a good seller. Hexweave bag, we managed to sell 8 of those. Hydral expedition bag, we sold 1 of those for, again, 6,700. It's quite interesting looking at that versus the 8 Hexweave bags. It's practically the same amount, but you only sold 1 Hydral expedition bag in that time. Profit margins are probably similar as well. Then coming down, more shirts. The rich purple silk shirt, another good one there. Average price 2,800. Sold 2 of those. Shadowweave mask, again, average price of 3,000. Sold 2 of those. Another spell thread here, 926 gold. And then 31 silkweave satchels over the course of January. And that's 11,000 gold just on those alone. Oh, looks like World of Warcraft's coming in now. So let's pop that back in. Okay, so back into World of Warcraft now in the background. So we've got Sinister Combatants Gear. This has been my one that I've really harked on about with the tailoring deep dive. And you can see here I've got a good amount of sales here. Boots of the Quick Blade have gone 8 of those for a total of 48, 6,000 there, average. Belt of the Quick Blade. And what else have we got? There's a good number here. Another 8. Cloak of the Harmonious. Cloak's doing very well actually. Couple there, Peerless, 4 of the Quick Blade, so lots and lots of gold made here. So this is going to be the bulk of my profits, I would imagine. Now I have noted that since the raids come out in the battle for Tazara Law, I've noticed that people seem to be playing their mains more now rather than going through and leveling alts, which means that Sinister Combatant Gear has dropped in frequency, certainly towards the tail end of the month. So I'm expecting that to be not as good as it was for a little while until the new allied races come out, and then I'm expecting this to come back in again and get some more sales for that. So I'm going to keep on riding it out. I'm still getting sales now, just not as many as I used to have. So going through lots of Sinister Gear here. And then I did notice that the Tide Spray linen price was going up and up and up, and I got some for a really cheap price. And so I actually was able to sell 1,200 tie spray linen for 15 gold on average, and my average purchase price is more like 4 gold or 3 gold, so I'm really happy with that. That was a lucky sale. And then we actually managed to sell a couple of bracers there, Aurora Fire Flash. Wasn't expecting those, they must have been on a bit earlier in the month, and then some tuxedo bits and pieces. So total sales in just tailoring alone is 682,000. So as you can see, it's been really good for me tailoring this month. Been my best thing so far, definitely. Now obviously there's another side to this, and that's the expenses. So let's run through those. Coming down here, we've got the expenses. I've bought a couple of things to reset markets on, so black mage weave, gloves and vest. I've got some crystallized fire, deep sea satin. Now look at that, I bought 966, 37,000 in deep sea satin for an average purchase price of 34 gold, which is quite expensive. Ideally I'd try and get that for under 30 gold. So you can see that's where a lot of my gold has gone. Here, the embroidered, I actually managed to get a better deal on that, 1,100 of it, and at 30, just over 30 gold average there. Then a few other small bits and pieces, and then the other big purchase here, coming down here, 26,000 in tie spray linen. Bought 11,000 of it for an average price of 3 gold. So going back here and selling some for 15 gold was very nice indeed. So that means we have a tailoring profit of 569,000. So over 500,000 gold in a month just on tailoring alone. So really happy with that. So let's move a bit further down to enchanting. Let's see what we've got here. So Enchant Cloaks, there's a good mix of both BFA stuff and old world stuff, and there's a real mix of everything from classic Pandaria, Legion. So I would really encourage people to just try lots of different things with enchanting. If you've got the full range of things you can make, give it a go. There's one exception here, down here, a fluke sale of a Mark of the Distant Army. For some reason I managed to sell one for 26,000. I have no idea why. And then I've also got some Binding of Agilities here, 11,000 of those, 2,800 average price. Intellect, 4 of those, Strength, 4 of those. So everything's just ticking through nicely. Each of them not massive in themselves, obviously apart from that Distant Army one, but they've all contributed to quite a decent amount of gold. So, Gifts of Haste, Critical Strike, Herbalism, Mining, Skinning are there. Then some of the other BFA stuff, Pact to Critical Strike there. And then we've got the Deadly Navigation and the Quick Navigation, Versatile Navigation down here. So there's 9 of those for the Quick Navigation, average price of 1,900. Mongoose has done really well, 3 of those for average of 5,600. And then another levelling one there, Crusader Enchant, 943. And there should be Elemental Force in here somewhere. There it is. 8 of those for an average of 471. So that's not a brilliant price compared to what I used to sell it for, but still 3,700. It's got a negligible crafting cost, that one. So again, enchanting, good mix of different things. 162,000 total. Could be higher. There's more I could do with enchanting. I'm going to have a look. Oh, there we go. Someone just bought some Umbra Shards. That's actually a stack of 200, I think. So quite pleased about that one. I'll have a look at that in a moment. So going on with my enchanting, 162,000. And then looking at my expenses, not a massive amount of expenses here, only 22,000 total. A few volatiles. I must have bought a Tome of Illusions Northrend for an average of 542 just to flip those and push the market up a bit higher, it looks like. A fair amount of Arcana, Chaos Crystals, Abyss Crystals, obviously the Enchanting Vellum from the Merchants. So a few different things there. So 22,000. Off of that is 139,000 enchanting profit, so not as good as the tailoring, which was 569, but combined together as 2 main professions, they've worked really well for me this month. That's coming in about 700,000 profit on just those 2 professions, which is more than enough for a token or 2. So in order to supplement that, I always like cooking, as we well know, so I have done some cooking. Now it looks to be quite profitable, 186,000. We've got the Bountiful Captain's Feast, 79 of those, average price of 1,280. Still selling some Bear Tartare, interestingly. And then vendor sales of Fusaka, and there's another one down here somewhere, the Wild Flower. Been able to sell that for just doing a vendor flip price on those. And we got quite a lot of Ravenberry Tarts and Swamp Fish and Chips doing very well there, 16,000 on that. Galley Banquet, just a few of those, average of 302. Now, the problem here is there is actually quite a lot of expenses on here, which I didn't realise until I looked back at my statistics. And you can see here, I've actually bought 32 Bountiful Captain's Feast. I must have tried resetting the market at one point. I don't remember when it was, but you can see here, average purchase price of 1,216. But then my average sale price is only 1,280. So it's not a particularly good bump in the market, that one. And then another thing I seem to have spent an awful lot on is Slimy Mackerel, 3,700. I must have overspent a fair amount on that one, so $23.99 as an average price, which means my actual total expenditure for the month was 175,000, which means I've only got a cooking profit of 10,000 gold. So if you were to take those Bountiful Captain's Feast here out and maybe not have as many Slimy Mackerel, then you've probably got something like a 50-60,000 profit at a rough guesstimate. So we'd be much better off with cooking if we had didn't have those expenditures. But you live and learn. There's, as they say, there's no mistakes. It's all learning experiences. So looking back on that, looking back at the statistics, I wouldn't have realised this and thought, oh, cooking's doing fine. But now that I've seen this, I'm going to be a bit more careful about how I'm going to buy various things and try not to just get carried away with buying certain things if the price is not optimal. So the other character we did work on was Erfan. So he has got started on his BFA leatherworking. We've only really just started that this month. So as you can see here, we've got a good sale of Drums of Fury and a couple of shimmer scale diving helmets from the turn-in, and then also the same with coarse leather barding. So only a few sales here. Now interestingly, in the last sort of week that I've been playing, trying to sell the Sinister Gear, I've not had any sales of the leather Sinister Gear that I put on. So that may just be my server. Others have reported similar. It's not selling as well as it could have. The jury's still out on that one for my server. I'm going to keep on trying because I know that once people start leveling their alts, the leatherworking Sinister Gear is going to come back into fashion. And you can see here my expenditure has been quite a lot because I've been leveling up to get it up to 150 in BFA. So you can see a lot of bloodstained bone, calcified bones, coarse leather there, expenditures, and the same with the shimmer scale. So that has actually taken my profit down to minus 15,000 based off this. But that's what I'd expect when learning a profession. You do have to put some gold into it in order to get yourself to the right skill level. So I needed to be at the right level for the Sinister Gear. Now that I can craft that, then we're going to have a look at that and see what else we can do with it. So moving on, got a miscellaneous category here. I'm not sure what this item is for 28,000. The accounting report doesn't actually have it as something. But that combined it with some gilded trousers of benediction for 13,000 and a white kitten there has meant we've got 54,000 in just miscellaneous sales. And then miscellaneous expenditure, we have various things, Dr. Dagamore, fair amount of that, 3,000 in expenditure on that side, so that means a profit of 50,000. So looking down at the grand totals, we have a million in sales, 337 in expenses, which means 750,000 thereabouts of profit. So for a month, I think that is very good, considering my playtime is pretty much sort of 6 to 8 hours a week. A lot of that time has been whilst I'm streaming. Well, in fact, 95% of that time has been whilst I'm streaming, so there's always a little bit of inefficiency whilst you're talking on stream. My main routine has been to go on first thing in the morning and relist any expired auctions, and then when I go onto my stream 3 times a week, I'll go through and recraft and restock on various things and then do a bit of character progression. So all in all, I'm really happy with the month of January and the things we've sold, and hopefully a few of those things will give you some ideas for selling stuff yourself. So that's the gold making side of things. On the sort of character progression side of things, Samadan's been going through and doing his reputation, trying to get himself steadily towards Pathfinder Part 1. Erfan's been going and doing a lot of leatherworking stuff and trying to get through, I think it's currently 112, so we're going to keep on going through with invasions and try and get him leveled up. Then we're going to move on to Awakening later, so I can have 3 characters at 120 eventually, so that's going to be the goal for February. The other things we're thinking of is Samadan has a lot of PvP to do in order to be able to pass on Marks of Honour to Erfan so he can get his Sinister Gear ranks up. And in general, we've been having just a whale of a time, loads of fun in Battle for Azeroth at the moment. So I've been really enjoying it and really enjoying having the company of everyone on the stream. Also, another thing that happened in the at the end of the month was, sadly, Mr. Potato 1.0 finally died, unfortunately, and that meant I've had to reinvest, and I have got myself Mr. Potato 2.0, which I'm recording this stream on now. So I've upgraded my hardware. Now, none of that would have been possible without all the kind donations on stream and people watching the adverts on YouTube, and all the donations, the bits and the subscriptions. They've all really helped in order to help me reinvest into the stream and buy a new computer. So I want to say a big massive thank you to everyone who's contributed on that. And as a way of saying thank you, I'm going to do a giveaway for this video. I did one on stream, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a giveaway for the Hogwarts mount, both NA or EU. All you need to do is leave a comment below of this video and let me know what kind of things you'd like to see next in my videos, and I'll let this run until midnight on the 8th of February GMT time, so you have plenty of time to enter. It's just my way of saying thank you to everyone. There's lots to look forward to in February, so I'm going to carry on with my professions, try and expand into more professions, do a bit more into enchanting, see if I can get the profits on that a bit higher, see if I can find some new markets, and develop our characters as we go, and enjoy the content as it comes out. There's still plenty of things I haven't done, so really looking forward to that. So until next time, happy gold making, and I'll see you very soon.